So if you went out into the wild right now, and just observed a colony of adult feral cats, you would actually notice something really huge missing.
Oh, definitely. You'd notice it almost immediately.
Right, because they almost never meow at each other, like that iconic cat sound.
Yeah.
It isn't actually native feline language at all.
No, not at all. It's totally manufactured.
Yeah, it's basically a custom-built secret dialect that they just invented over the last 10,000 years for one very specific reason. And that reason is to manipulate you.
It's wild, honestly. It completely reframes how we look at them.
Oh, absolutely.
Because, I mean, the popular cultural image of the domestic cat is this aloof, independent creature that just happens to occupy your living room and tolerate your existence.
Yeah, just the grumpy roommate who doesn't pay rent.
Exactly. But the stack of behavioral science and veterinary research we're looking at today, it tells a vastly different story. Cat communication is actually this highly active, living, relational system.
Welcome to today's Deep Dive, everyone. We are going to decode a language older than written words.
And it's a fascinating one.
It really is. The core takeaway from all these sources is that your cat isn't just, operating on a static set of instincts. They are actively adapting their intelligence to our specific human social worlds.
Right. They are paying very close attention.
Effectively, the cat sitting on your lap right now or staring you down from the bookshelf is a lifelong student of you.
And we are going to explore not just what they're communicating, but the underlying mechanisms of why they do it and how they physically pull it off.
Because they're always talking to us, right?
Always. They are constantly broadcasting information, but humans are just often too oblivious to pick up the signal.
We really are. So whether you are a lifelong cat owner or, just someone fascinated by hidden animal intelligence, this deep dive is going to fundamentally change how you view interspecies connection.
I guarantee you'll never look at your cat the same way again.
Totally. Okay, let's unpack this. And we're starting with the most obvious way cats communicate with us, which is the meow.
The classic meow.
Right. Because if they don't meow at each other in the wild, what exactly is happening when they yell at us for breakfast?
Well, to understand the meow, you really have to look at kittenhood.
Okay, like when they're babies.
Exactly. Kittens will meow to their mothers when they are cold or hungry. It's a localized distress signal.
Makes sense.
But once a wild cat grows up, that vocalization is largely abandoned in cat-to-cat interactions. They just rely on scent and body language.
Oh, wow. So they just grow out of it.
Essentially, yes. However, domestic cats realize early on that humans are incredibly unobservant when it comes to subtle visual cues.
Oh, yeah. We are a very loud, noisy vocal species.
We are. So cats maintained and refined that juvenile vocalization specifically to bridge the communication gap with us.
That is just crazy. It's like having a roommate who learns an entirely new foreign language just to get you to open the fridge.
That's a great way to put it, yeah.
But I have to play devil's advocate for a second here. Are they actually talking to us, or have they just, trained us like Pavlov's dogs?
Like they just press a button for food?
Yeah, exactly. Do they just know that making a specific noise equals food appearing?
What's fascinating here is how highly personalized the communication becomes. It isn't just some generic alarm bell.
Oh, wait, really? It's personalized?
Oh, highly. A cat will figure out which specific pitch and duration gets food from you, and which completely different meow gets comfort or attention.
So they have a whole vocabulary just for me.
Yes. Over years of living together, a cat and their human construct a private dialect. Researchers have actually run experiments on this.
Oh, I love this part. Tell them about the recording.
Right. So researchers had strangers listen to recordings of a cat meowing, and the strangers can generally guess the emotional tone, like if the cat is angry or begging.
Sure, you can hear the urgency.
But the actual owner is significantly better at interpreting the specific meaning. Outsiders literally cannot fully decode it because that specific meow was engineered for one specific human ear.
That level of cognitive flexibility is just wild to me. And it gets even more specific, doesn't it?
It does.
Like there was that recent study by researchers in Japan that tested whether cats recognize their own name.
Oh, right. The 2019 study?
Yeah. They played 4 similar-sounding words, followed by the cat's actual name. And they didn't just look for the cat running over it.
They measured micro-movements.
Yeah.
Things like specific ear twitches and head orientation.
And the cats clearly reacted to the sound pattern of their own name, even when a total stranger was speaking it.
Which is huge.
Yeah. So they absolutely know you're talking to them. They just actively choose whether or not to respond.
Which points to how they conserve energy, you know? A cat doesn't see the need to physically engage just because they are acknowledged.
They're like, I hear you, I just don't care.
Pretty much. They are paying incredibly close attention to the mechanics of how we speak. Another study comparing households found that cats actually adopt the melody of the human language spoken around them.
Wait. So you're telling me cats have regional accents?
Essentially, yes. Cats in Swedish-speaking households produce meows with tonal patterns-like prosodic qualities that mimic the rise and fall of Swedish speech.
That is mind-blowing.
And meanwhile, cats in English-speaking households have an entirely different vocal rhythm.
They are literally matching our cadence.
They map the pitch and rhythm of the environment to figure out what sounds most natural and therefore most persuasive to the humans living there.
Wow.
They even filter out irrelevant noise. Charlotte de Mouzon, a behavioral researcher, recently published a study on baby talk.
Oh, like that super high-pitched, exaggerated voice people use with their pets.
Exactly, yeah. She found that cats turn toward and sustain attention to baby talk only when it comes from their specific owner.
Wait, really? What if someone else does it?
When a stranger uses the exact same tone, the cats mostly ignore it.
So they know the difference between being spoken to by their person and just overhearing someone else being weird.
Exactly. They hold multiple social models in their heads at once.
They know who you are, how you sound, and what audio frequency works best on your specific psychology.
Yes. They're masters of sound.
Well, so if they're consciously manipulating us with sound, let's talk about the purr. Because here's where it gets really interesting.
Oh, the purr is fascinating.
Yeah, because it isn't just a vocalization, right? It is a physiological tool. And the sources point out a specific type of purring that is basically evolutionary biohacking.
It really is. And the anatomy of the purr is entirely unique to smaller felines.
Because lions don't purr the same way.
Right. Big cats, like lions or tigers, produce a low rumble through the passive vibration of connective tissue.
Okay.
But the domestic cat purrs continuously on both the inhale and the exhale using rapid neuromuscular contractions of their laryngeal muscle. Yeah, their brain sends a signal to these muscles to twitch 20 to 30 times every single second.
Hold on. You're telling me my cat is essentially a vibrating medical device? That sounds a little bit like pseudoscience. How does a hum physically heal a bone?
I know it sounds crazy, but it comes down to the physics of frequency. The domestic purr operates almost perfectly between 25 and 150 hertz.
Okay, and why does that number matter?
Because in human medicine, we know from principles like Wolff's Law that bones adapt to the mechanical stress placed upon them.
Right, like weightlifting builds bone density.
Exactly. Low-frequency vibrations in that exact 25 to 150 hertz range physically stimulate osteoblasts, the cells responsible for bone formation, to harden and repair tissue.
That is incredible.
It really is. It also settles inflammation and repairs tendons. Think about it. For a solitary predator in the wild, a broken bone is a death sentence.
So they evolved their own physical therapy?
Yes. The purr evolved as an internal physical therapy engine to accelerate healing.
That makes so much sense. So when a cat is purring on your lap, it's not just saying, I'm happy. It's running a self-healing protocol.
Which completely explains why cats purr in high-stress situations, like at the vet, or when they are in acute pain, or even while giving birth.
Oh, wow. I didn't know they purred when they gave birth.
Yeah, it is a self-soothing survival mechanism. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, the purr works on a physiological level before conscious understanding even arrives.
What do you mean by that?
Well, when that low frequency moves through your chest while the cat is on your lap, it is lowering your blood pressure and doing something quietly useful for your cellular tissue, too.
So it's mutually beneficial.
Exactly. The bond isn't just emotional, it is a shared physiological environment.
Okay, but what about the biohacking I mentioned, the manipulation part? Because the sources highlight something called the solicitation purr.
Right. Behavioral researcher Karen McComb and her team identified this.
And this is different from a normal purr.
Very different. When a cat wants something urgently, usually food, they don't just meow. They actually embed a high-frequency acoustic cry inside the normal low-frequency rumble of the purr.
Oh, man. Think about the last time your cat woke you up for breakfast, guys. Did it sound a little frantic? Almost a little bit like a crying baby?
You definitely weren't imagining that.
No, because the embedded cry and the solicitation purr sits at roughly the same acoustic frequency as a human infant's cry.
It's incredible.
They figured out the exact frequency that completely bypasses human logic. and targets our mammalian parental instincts.
It is a brilliant evolutionary shortcut. They found the precise wavelength that makes them impossible for a human brain to ignore.
So they have us fully trained with their noises.
Yeah.
But if they're constantly performing for us with sound, how do we know what they're actually feeling?
That's where we have to look closer.
Right. Let's transition to the silent physical language they use, because their bodies are constantly broadcasting involuntary truths, if you know how to look.
The face is a perfect example of this. For a long time, humans just assumed cats had flat, unreadable expressions.
Yeah, they always look kind of blank to people.
Mostly because they lack the expressive eyebrow muscles that dogs evolved to communicate with us.
Oh, that makes sense.
But veterinary science has now mapped feline microexpressions. There's this tool called the Feline Grimace Scale, developed by the University of Montreal.
The Grimace Scale, I love that name.
It identifies 5 specific facial features to decode acute pain: ear position, muzzle tension, whisker changes, head position, and orbital tightening.
Okay, let's break that down a bit. Orbital tightening, you just mean squinting, right?
It is a specific kind of tension around the eyes, yes, but it's paired with the other features.
Like what?
For instance, when a cat is in pain, the ears rotate outward like airplane wings, the muzzle tenses up and flattens the whisker pads, and the whiskers themselves bunch together and point straight forward.
Oh, wow. So it's a full facial shift.
Yes. By reading these subtle shifts, veterinarians can decode distress in cats that are otherwise completely silent.
That is so useful. And the whiskers alone are incredible barometers, aren't they?
Absolutely.
Like, whiskers pushed forward usually mean active engagement or tension. Whiskers flattened flat back against the face mean extreme fear.
Right.
And because those movements are heavily tied to their nervous system, the whiskers always tell the truth, even if the cat is, trying to play it cool.
Which brings us back to the eyes and one of the most misunderstood signals: the slow blink.
Oh, the slow blink.
Yes, researchers at the universities of Sussex and Portsmouth recently cracked the code on this. They confirmed that a slow, half-closed eye movement is actually a visual greeting of trust.
Because staring is bad, right?
Exactly. In the feline world, prolonged, unbroken eye contact is an aggressive challenge. Looking away or deliberately closing the eyes in the presence of another predator signals that peace is welcome.
And when human participants slow blinked at cats they had never met, the cats consistently slow blinked back and were far more likely to approach them.
It's literally a secret handshake.
It really is.
Yeah.
And the tail grammar is part of that sequence too, right?
Very much so.
A tail held straight up is a clear, positive greeting. But there's a whole polite choreography to it.
There is a sequence.
Yeah, it starts with the tail up from afar,
Yeah.
then the slow blink, then an investigative pause where they sniff your hand, and only then do they go in for the body rub.
And if a human interrupts that sequence, like reaching out to pet them too fast during the investigative pause, you completely break the grammar of the greeting.
Oh, I definitely do that.
We all do. But you're essentially shouting over them. Recognizing these signals also helps explain displacement behaviors.
Displacement behaviors, what are those?
You might see a cat suddenly start aggressively grooming its shoulder right in the middle of a tense interaction.
Yes, out of nowhere.
That isn't random hygiene. It means the cat is experiencing severe inner conflict. They are pulled between wanting to engage and wanting to retreat, and the grooming is a physical outlet for that competing nervous energy.
That makes perfect sense. It's like when people, nervously scratch their arm. But let me throw a relatable scenario at you.
Sure, go for it.
You're sitting on the couch, your cat hops up, and then turns its back entirely to you. Or it falls asleep, completely exposed, belly up in the middle of the rug.
Ah, yes.
I know a lot of people feel like that's a snub. Come on. Sometimes my cat turns her back right after I tell her to get off the counter. You can't tell me that isn't a passive-aggressive feline insult.
I'm really glad you brought that up because it requires a complete reframing. This raises an important question about how often we misread animal boundaries.
Because we treat them like humans.
Exactly, because we lazily apply human social rules to them. A turned back is absolutely not an insult.
Really?
Really. And critically, an exposed belly is usually not an invitation for a belly rub.
Oh no. So many scratched hands.
Right. By turning away and exposing their most vulnerable physical areas, the spine and the soft abdomen, the cat is communicating absolute felt safety. The vulnerability itself is the message. They are saying, the environment you have created is secure enough that I do not need to monitor you as a threat.
Oh, man. We are so busy projecting our own human insecurities onto them that we literally take your highest compliment as an insult.
It's true, we completely missed the point.
So, we've decoded the vocal manipulations, and we've decoded the silent body language. Let's move to the final and maybe most alien layer of feline communication.
The invisible world.
Yes, the invisible world of scent and space. The physical maps they draw in our homes that we can't even see.
This requires us to remember that cats experience the world chemically and spatially in ways we simply don't have the hardware for.
Right.
Let's start with bunting. That's when a cat rubs its face, cheeks, or chin against your shin, or maybe the corner of a coffee table.
They do that all the time.
They have highly active scent glands in those areas, and they are depositing chemical compounds called pheromones.
And the research makes a great point here, guys. They aren't just decorating you. They are actively including you in their trusted group.
You are literally being chemically marked as safe.
That is so cool.
Precisely. And the same biological mechanism applies to scratching. People often assume scratching is just claw maintenance or deliberate destruction of property.
Right, like they just want to ruin the couch.
But cats have glands between their toes. Scratching deposits toe-land pheromones, and the physical scratch marks serve as visual territorial posts in highly trafficked areas.
Wow.
To a cat, the arm of your couch isn't furniture, it is a community bulletin board where they are leaving updates about their presence.
That's wild. So what does this all mean when a cat makes that hilarious stinky face? You know the one I'm talking about. They smell a shoe or a blanket, and their mouth hangs slightly open, their eyes glaze over, and they look totally disgusted.
I know exactly what you mean. That look of disgust is actually the Feline response.
The Feline response.
Yes. Cats have a specialized sensory structure called the Jacobson's organ, or vomeronasal organ. It's located on the roof of their mouth, just behind their incisors, and it connects directly to the nasal cavity. When they hold their mouth open like that, they are essentially pumping scent molecules across that organ for deep chemical analysis.
So they aren't grossed out at all?
Not at all. They are reading a complex chemical language left behind by other animals, processing pheromones that human noses can't even detect.
The processing power inside a cat's tiny head is just staggering. They are analyzing 3D chemical data, tracking our human gaze, and mapping the entire living room all at once.
It's a huge cognitive load.
Oh, and the referential gesturing. The sources mention the cats understand object permanence. Like if a toy goes under the fridge, they know it still exists.
Right.
But even more impressive, they will look at an empty food bowl and look up at your eyes and then look back at the bowl.
Which is an incredibly sophisticated cognitive leap. It requires a rudimentary theory of mind.
What does that mean exactly?
The cat understands that you have your own awareness and that your awareness can be redirected. They are utilizing you as a tool to solve a problem.
That is slightly terrifying, but amazing.
And they map all of this social hierarchy onto the physical space of the house. For instance, a cat communicates its confidence through vertical height.
Oh, like climbing the cat tree.
Exactly. The higher a scent mark is left, or the higher the perch they choose, the more size and confidence that cat is projecting to the environment.
And the sources point out that even their paw preference indicates personality.
Yeah.
Like lateralization.
Yes, the left brain, right brain connection.
Right. If a cat consistently leads with its right paw, it is relying on the left hemisphere of its brain, which tends to lean more open and social.
Mm-hmm.
If it leads with its left paw, relying on the right hemisphere, it leans more fearful and cautious. The spatial dynamics are everywhere.
A cat maps its entire social world through distance, height, and scent. If you were to trace the floor plan of a cat's daily movement, it is quite literally a map of where it feels at ease.
Wow.
When a cat chooses to simply rest in the same room as you, even if they are 10 feet away on a chair, that shared space is the most basic expression of social inclusion.
That is so sweet.
In their spatial language, they don't have to be touching you. Choosing to be in your orbit is an active, deliberate statement of connection.
They are constantly talking to us, even when they're just sleeping in the corner.
Always.
So to wrap up this incredible journey, cats are not the solitary, indifferent creatures pop culture makes them out to be.
Not even close.
From meows that are specifically engineered to match human regional dialects, to purrs that literally emit bone-healing frequencies, to complex spatial diplomacy, they are actively participating in a 10,000-year-old conversation with us.
And the most important takeaway is that this relationship is deeply mutual. The communication style of the human actively shapes the communication style of the relationship.
It's a two-way street.
Yes. When we honor their physical boundaries, when we let them initiate the approach, when we respect the sequence of the tail grammar, and when we learn to suppress our primate urge to stare and instead slow blink at the right moment, we unlock a much deeper level of trust.
The human is half the conversation.
The human is half the conversation.
Right. Which is a beautiful responsibility to have. I want to leave you with one final, deeply touching detail from the source material to mull over today.
It's a good one.
We've spent a lot of time talking about how cats observe and adapt to us when we're in the room. But what happens when we aren't there?
Right.
Researchers documenting feline behavior in multi-person homes found that cats will wander through the house, vocalizing and calling out specifically for an individual who is absent.
They look for us.
They really do.
Yeah.
It completely shatters the age-old myth that cats only care about whoever happens to be filling the food bowl that day.
They genuinely miss us.
They hold specific, individual social expectations for the humans they have bonded with. So the next time you leave the house, consider this. Your cat doesn't just know you're gone. They might just be walking the halls, asking the empty rooms where you went.